Next week I'm going to be in Vegas. Doesn't that sound like so much fun?
What's happening in Vegas?
The APA Nationals. I'm going out to help Jacoby Custom Cues with their booth, this is going to be super Jacoby based, huh?
Yeah.
Lots of Jacoby going on. Jacoby doing lots of good things.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
How long are you there for?
Till August 14th.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Hell.
Is that the one that's in the Westgate?
They're almost all at the Westgate at this point. I think.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, I think. Well, there's a million different pool organizations, but the ones that go to Vegas, VNEA is at Westgate, APA is at Westgate. I think ACS I think is at Tropicana, but I think they're going to Westgate from what I've heard. BCA I think is now at the Westgate.
That used to be at the Rio, didn't it?
Yeah.
Was it the Rio that was at? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe the BCA is still at the Rio. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to the BCA in a couple of years. I think the BCA. Well, first off, I think the Rio is like the shittiest place in the entire world. I think that
every single year, casino from Scooby-Doo, isn't it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. It's like every single year you hear these horror stories of like 20 people get their rooms broken into, and that all kind of came to a forefront. What was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago when the Polish guys got their room broken into and lost like $6,000 or $7,000. But it's like. It's just crazy. You remember that?
No, I don't remember it. No, that's crazy.
Yeah, Mieszko Fortuński, Konrad Juszczyszyn, Victor Zielinski. In fact, that happened the night before Victor Zielinski went and snapped off the Vegas Open.
Oh, so they didn't steal his cues then?
They didn't steal his cues, but they stole like the money. Mieszko Fortuński woke up in the middle of the night and kind of saw two people and was like, he kind of didn't think anything of it. So he just rolled back over, just thinking like somebody was getting up to go to the bathroom or something like that. And then, they're still rustling around. So he turns over. He's like, what's going on? And there's like two guys in there and they just darted out as fast as they possibly could. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But like that stuff happens at the Rio like all the time. Like you hear horror stories of it like Jesus. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year. And the desk won't do anything. I mean, you got to file a police report to get anything, and then they usually don't even give up the security cam footage anyways. So, like Mieszko and Konrad and Victor, like they had basically nothing that they could do. They
won't give up the security cam footage.
I guess not. They wouldn't do anything.
Because Ben and Kerry from On Board, they had everything stolen from the
Mandalay Bay, right?
Where?
Mandalay Bay, right?
Was it not the one in Atlantic City? Shit, I've been there. I can't even.
Oh, was it at Harris?
Harris, thank you. Yeah. I think I might have been there. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was the U.S. Open. It wasn't the Moscone Cup. It was the U.S. Open. Yeah, so that would have been at Harris. And
they figured out what was happening with that because a lot of other people had stuff stolen, and what was happening was people were going down to the pool, and you've got to check in at the pool with your room card.
Sure.
So whenever they were checking in at the pool, one of the pool attendants was texting one of his friends. And that person would then bolt up and rob the room while everybody was down at the pool, and that's what was happening. Crazy. They still didn't do anything about it, but they knew that's what was happening.
That's insane.
Yeah, madness.
I'd have to send my wife down to the pool to sign us in, and then wait for the guy to come up to my room so I could beat him senseless.
It's a good plan.
Probably need backup. What are you doing later? You help me beat someone up?
Yeah, might as well.
That's crazy. But no, I mean the Rio is just terrible. Anyways, you got like it's like a $15 hot dog, $20 drinks. It's not even worth going to. I hated it there.
They're all expensive, right? All of the casinos, but they're the best place for tournaments. I think when you have to play one that's not in a casino, it feels it's a bit crapper for some reason. I don't know. It doesn't feel the same. Casino tournaments always feel better.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We just kind of chatted a little bit to get started. We have a pretty light episode today. So everybody who's tuning in, first off, please give the stream a share. Helps us get out there. Simple thing to do. I know that you always have like those posts that you make with your friends. It doesn't take much to help your friend's small business. Well, we are a small business. Help us out by giving us a share. Right, Chris?
Yes.
Yes.
I never do it, but I never go on my Facebook. I hate it, but thank you for everybody that is sharing it.
Yeah, thanks for all the people who are doing the work. So
Yeah.
Chris is on the show and doesn't even care.
I do.
Have you ever shared the podcast once in your entire life?
I never go on Facebook. I hate it. I did go into it the other day, and there were like 400 or something friend requests or something from people I'd never heard of. So I don't know if that's like people trying to scam you or some.
I do remember at one point in time that I was your only friend on Facebook. That was fun.
Good old days. I need to go back to that. Delete everybody else. Just keep you.
Yeah. That was good. In fact, you
Yeah.
made if I remember, I think you made your Facebook for me, right?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't let me play in the the VG10 or whatever it was unless I had a Facebook account. So
Well, how the hell do I talk to you?
yeah, I know, and I'd never had a Facebook account for like however long it's been out, 15, 20 years or something, and then bang, you got me into
what's your name on Facebook?
just
Chris
my
Alexander.
Normal, why?
Yeah,
What's
Chris
yours? Have you got like a nickname or something?
Everybody go over and send him a friend request right now, just to mess with him, just to piss him off. That'll be funny.
Yeah. Okay. It'll get ignored just like the rest of them.
Oh, that's fun. All right. Well, yeah, give the stream a share. And we're going to start something new this week. So everybody who's tuning in and who likes onboard gear, I'm wearing an onboard jersey. Well, not jersey, jacket, a World Pool Championships jacket. This is made by Onboard. I am wearing one of these right now. We are going to start something new. Give this a try out. This is we're going to be doing 15% off for a single range jersey every single week now from here on going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. So this week we are going to start out with the Alaska range. So as you can see on stream, this is our Alaska range. You can get 15% off. All you got to do is use the code Alaska15. We are highlighting there the red jersey, but we have blue, green, pink, gray, and yellow down at the bottom. And any jersey that you use this for, you can add your name, your company logos, your sponsors, whatever you want. You can add all of that for free, and it will get 15% off this $59.95 jersey. All you got to do is use that code Alaska15. So head over to onboardsportswear.us and enter that code in, and you can get any Alaska range for 15% off. Fun stuff. And let's go back. I guess I don't know. Let's talk about your tournament. You were at the Jacoby Open, right?
Yeah,
and you had a pretty good finish. You got what, 5th through 8th?
Yeah,
if I remember that.
Yeah, it was okay. I wanted it to be better, but didn't play good, so I can't complain. But the tournament is tournament's great. The club that we play in is the best club in the UK, and it's McGoldrick's, it's called, in Glasgow. If you're ever up in Scotland, pay it a visit. It's a brilliant club. It's run by Jason Shaw's sister and brother-in-law. It's just an unbelievable club. The equipment's great, food's great, everything about the place is really, really good. So perfect place to hold a tournament in the UK, really.
How many tables they have?
They've only got 6 at the moment, but they are getting more. So they're all 6 Rasson match tables, 4.25-inch pockets, and then the main TV table's 4-inch. Plays a little tougher, but they're going to be getting more. Apparently, if that's the word. So they might have 10 or 12 to run bigger tournaments.
So they have just the 6 tables? Do they have any like English 8-ball tables or?
Yeah, they've got.
It sounds like they have a lot of room in there. What's the rest of the room being taken up with?
Yeah, it's all English 8-ball tables, and like giant TV, sitting area for having your food, drinks, and they've got 2 Rasson pro snooker tables as well. I had to go on those the other day. They're heated snooker tables with Pro Cup pockets. They're a little bit bigger than Pro Pockets. But yeah, amazing. All the equipment in there is unbelievable.
Wow. How many English 8-ball tables?
10, maybe.
Okay, so it's a really big room.
Yeah, it's a big place. It's a big place, all right. And they've got the biggest TV I've ever seen. It's enormous for watching sports on, which is great as well. So yeah, it's a good place if you're ever up there. Definitely have a look.
Sure. Well, tell us about your tournament. Looks like you won 5 matches in a row and then lost your 6th to Dimitri Jungo.
I played equally bad in all of the matches, but I didn't play anyone seeded higher than me until I played Jungo. So I played some tough players, but a lot of them are converts from English. If you look at the draw, you'll see there's loads of Scottish, English, just British players in general in the draw. And they are all converts from English 8-ball or snooker. So they've all got good backgrounds technically. They're all really good potters. It's just the finesse stuff that some of them are missing. But they're all going to keep playing, all of them that I spoke to. So there's going to be more good players coming out of the UK soon. I'm pretty sure of that. I
like how you say this like they're all converts, like you're not a convert.
I am 100%.
Like you're looking down on them, like they.
No, God, no, I'm not. No, absolutely not.
No, I'm just.
They haven't. For some of them, like one of the guys I played, was talking to him. He'd only started playing American pool like 3 months ago, but he could play. Like he could really, really play. So yeah.
So out of curiosity, why are all these players converting over now? We've seen it with some snooker players, and I think the snooker players, at least the ones that are playing on tour, like the Judd Trumps and the Mark Wilsons, they're not staying over here. Like they're just kind of touching their toe in the water. Maybe they want to do something later on in their career when they can't compete on the snooker tour anymore. Maybe, but why do you think everyone's converting over now?
It's just got a much higher profile now, doesn't it? It's got a much higher profile. So there are two things. There's the Matchroom 9-ball stuff that we're attracting loads of new players into. And then there's the Joy Chinese 8-ball stuff exclusively in China, although they're having an event in Vietnam this week, that lots of the pro snooker players are going to as well, and the pro English 8-ball players. So while the reason, the Matchroom stuff's got great coverage in the UK, the tournaments are easily accessible, the stuff in China has got some crazy, crazy money attached to it. So there's options for everybody. You're not going to see any of the 9-ball players going on the pro snooker tour, but there's plenty of routes for those snooker players and the English 8-ball guys to come into this game or Chinese 8-ball.
Sure. It's that's basically why you transitioned over as well, basically, right? You just didn't see a future in English 8-ball, and
no, it's the tournaments. I'd stopped going. I was going to like one tournament a year. Although I love pool, really, really love it, and I was watching it all the time, and whether any discipline, watching anything, really a massive fan of it and really wanting to play. But the events were so poor, and really bad, bad venues. Scheduling was poor. Didn't get treated particularly well. I just didn't like going to them anymore. So I'd stopped, apart from maybe one tournament a year. And then when Matchroom said they were going to do the US Open, I signed up for that immediately. I didn't even have a queue. So I ended up going to Vegas with like a pub queue, sawn in half. I didn't get any proper equipment for about a year after that. But that's why I switched. That's why loads of other people are switching.
I think I remember sending you a break cue at one point in time, or I was going to send you a break cue. So you didn't even have a break cue. You were using like.
Yeah, you were gonna send me one, and there's so many generous people in the game, and I think we're probably going to talk about it in a bit. Is David Jacoby? It's just passed.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably a prime example of how generous people can be in the game. But there's lots of generous people offered me equipment. I just couldn't take it. People had offered me cues from different places, and I just didn't really feel like I didn't want to take stuff off people and then hate it and not use it. Respectful. So I just, even up to today, I can't be bothered getting my cue out, but it's a piece of crap. It's nothing, it's just so difficult to navigate your way around all of the equipment that's available in this game. It's too much, way too much.
So what are you playing with?
It's a Predator shaft. I got a Predator shaft, a
314,
or one of those or a Z thing. Where is it? 314. With a That's all I know about it. A 314. I don't even know what the tip size is. I think they come standard tip size actually.
I think they're 12.5. I think.
Okay, that's definitely what it is then. And then
but I think you can get them at 11.75 too.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know what mine is. And I've got I think it's a Josh Butt, but I've kicked the shit out of it over the last couple of years since I've had it, so it's not in particularly good condition. So yeah, not a fan of. There's just too much choice in this game, equipment wise. It's a minefield. People must spend fortunes, like hobby people. They must spend fortunes going through stuff. There's new car every time I go on Instagram. There's like people promoting new carbon shafts and just all sorts of stuff. It's just crazy. The tip choice. There must be 1,000 different tip manufacturers out there. It's just, or tip choices anyway. It's just, I don't know what's going on. It's way too hard to navigate your way around it as a beginner.
There's a few of them, aren't there?
Yeah.
So when are you going to start taking your equipment seriously?
I am taking it serious. What's the difference, right? Between what is the difference, right? It's a bit of wood with a tip on it. As long as it's the right weight and it's the right length for you, what's the difference after that? It's all in your head.
It's like saying every car has 4 wheels. What's the difference?
Well, what is the difference? It gets you from A to B, right? What is the difference?
Some more efficiently than others.
Yeah, for sure. But like, it's just a bit of wood with a tip on it, isn't it? I don't get what the big deal is. And then I see some of these cues. You see them, people at tournaments, and they've got like diamonds and freaking rhinestones and glitter and shit on them. It's unbelievable. I seen a cue a while ago, and it was insane. Is it one of the Coe brothers has got a?
Yeah, he's got a $30,000 cue or something.
Got gold or silver in it or something, gold inlays or something.
Coping, yeah. I mean, have you seen some of the cues that Jacoby makes? They're freaking fantastic. They're beautiful.
No doubt. And don't get me wrong, some of the cues I look at, I think they're lovely. They look great. And then I look at some other ones and I think that is horrendous. It's just ugly. I think there's a predator cue that's got like this big bit of metal going around the bottom of it. Do you know what is it a P3 or something?
The P3 has basically like a single line going all the way up through to the joint, and it kind of comes down and wraps around the butt. Does it have metal? It might have metal. One of the options might have metal.
Yeah, but it's just like, why? It's just horrendous looking. Did Stephen Hendry not have a £30 cue for you? Yeah. Oh, it was cheaper than 30 quid. His mum bought it from a car boot sale. Do you have those in America?
We have like house sales.
No, like car boot sale is where like 100 people turn up in their cars with all the crap they don't want from their house. They park in the middle of a field.
Oh.
And people come and like buy the crap out of the back of their car. But that's where he got his cue from, Stephen Hendry. And that was a piece of crap. He's even said it himself.
And he plays okay.
He did up until he lost his cue, funnily enough, and then he got a new one. I don't know if he won a ranking event after he lost his old one. He might have. Garage sale. That's probably the equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah, but garage sales is but they're bigger though. So the garage sales, like you basically turn your garage into a shopping center, and people come and buy all your shit from there. Yeah, but you gotta, you're not bringing everybody together. Of course, you got to go to everybody's houses. So
yeah,
I was thinking about doing that, setting up a garage sale, setting up some onboard gear, maybe some town chalk, a little bit of Horo tips, and just see if anybody wants to come and buy anything.
It's a good idea. You're always selling something, aren't you? Something's always.
I'll tell you what. If you saw how much stuff I had lying around my house, it would give you anxiety how much stuff I have lying around. You see the posts that I do, like where I'm just like, all right, this has been here for 2 months. I got to get rid of this. All right, I've had this for 4 months. I got to get rid of this. I need to just set up some massive queued up booth and just say, all right, everything is 20% off. Just take it and get away from me.
Yeah, take it to one of those APA events or something at the Westgate. Set up your own booth and just boom. Get rid of it all.
Well, yeah, maybe Jacoby will let me just take over their booth, and they could just take a 2-week vacation in Las Vegas, and I'll just sell off all my crap.
Sell none of their stuff, but all of yours.
Yeah, pretty much, right? So, all right, we talked a little bit about the event. David Alcaide joins the winner's circle again. It's been a little while since he's won an event. Seems like a couple, maybe since the last time he won the Masters.
Maybe.
I'm struggling to think of one that he's won since then.
Yeah,
at
maybe.
least of note. But,
probably is.
Yeah, he gets back to the winner's circle. Beats and you'll have to help me with this because I don't know who this is. Phil Burford,
monster player. He's unbelievable. Yeah. He's one of the best British players at the moment. He just doesn't play on the circuit, but he's like class. He did.
Is he 9-ball or is he English 8-ball?
9-ball, and then he played. He used to go. He went to the States quite a bit, but that we're talking maybe mid-2000s or something, maybe something like that.
Okay.
And he won a couple of events over there. He's beaten like everybody at one point or another. He's just a top-class player. Top class, really is.
Well, he lost Hill in the finals to David Alcaide, and he beat David Alcaide earlier on in the tournament. So the guy can obviously play. Beat him 8-5 in the second round.
Right. Oh, it was Phil that beat him, not Jack Whelan. It was Phil. I thought you said earlier it was Jack.
Oh no, Phil.
Oh,
Phil. Phil beat David Alcaide in the second round, and David Alcaide goes on a run on the B side, gets back to the single elimination, and.
It's a horrible draw. It's a horrible draw, really, because Phil's unseeded, and then David runs into him second round. It's a horrible draw. It's disgusting.
No, it looks like Phil Seeder was had the 32nd seed. It looks like
Phil did.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, but
so somehow he had the 32.
Yeah, he should be obviously way higher than that in that field.
Sure.
He should be in the top 2 or 3 seeds, and then they would have avoided each other, I think.
And if I remember, I think Adam Smith is a pretty class player too, right?
Adam is, yeah. He's like a really powerful player. Just really solid. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you saw him doing something, getting his name right up there at something big in the future. Really good player.
Sure.
Did you watch the final?
I watched a bit of it.
Which bit?
The 8-ball was fun.
The 8-ball was fun.
I don't think that everybody thinks the 8-ball was fun, but I think some people find the 8-ball fun. I mean, this is. I mean, if I could go on a little rant here, this is the part that really bothers me about 9-ball and players like us. Because something like this will happen, and everyone will be like, "Oh, this is why you can't play 8-ball. This is bullshit. You shouldn't have something like that hill to decide the tournament." And it's like, sure. I mean, is that a good look? Not really. It's kind of crappy, but at the same time, it's like,
it's the game.
Did Phil make any mistake? Yeah, did Phil make any mistakes that earlier on in the set that if he wouldn't have made that mistake, it would have never got down to that?
Well, he's missed. Yeah. He had a chance to win a carom on the 2-ball onto the 9, and that was in the last track. So he had his chance. Yeah. I'm sure he'd tell you that. But it's horrible.
It is.
Horrible way for Phil to lose.
It's an ugly 8-ball.
It's ugly.
It's an ugly 8-ball.
It's ugly. It's going to happen more often when the pockets are cut like that. It's going to happen.
But if that happened in rack number 3, nobody would care. Is my point.
Phil might care.
The fact that it happened I'm saying everybody who's saying we should be playing 10-ball or call pocket 9-ball, right? I mean, that if that happened in rack 3, nobody would care. I mean, nobody would be saying this now. It's just because it happened, and that literally was Hill, and that was the reason why he won. I mean, it's just the game, I'm not a fan of changing the game. If we wanted to play 10-ball, we could play 10-ball. I mean, Predator offers that. You don't have to play these events, right?
Yeah, luck plays its part in every sport. or in a lot of sports anyway. But it was just
But
unfortunate.
I will say I have a 4. I'm assuming that this is the 4-inch table that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've played on this table before, or I've played on a 4-inch table before. There's no such thing as an easy shot on any 4-inch table.
No.
But that 8-ball was pretty easy. He got lucky.
Put it under the
because it was dead straight in. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's David didn't look comfortable the whole way through the tournament. I stopped and watched him play a few times, and he didn't look comfortable. He definitely won with his B game, definitely. But that's a mark of, those top quality players. They can win with their B game. He hit a gear in one of his earlier matches, but I think after that, he probably didn't get near his top level, his top gear. But his class act, you can't say he didn't deserve to win. That's just one shot out of like 1,000 that he's played over the weekend. It just came, like you said, at that moment, which is a bit of a kick in the balls for Phil, but.
Yeah, a bit. But I'll tell you what, Phil handled it like an absolute champion. He walked straight up to him afterwards, and he's laughing with him. I mean, sometimes you got to laugh just to stop from crying, but
what else can you do?
Mean, he handled as well as he could. I mean,
yeah. Phil knows better than anybody, especially in that field, that these things happen. Even though a lot of the American people might not know of him, he's got a ton of experience, and he is a great player. So he'll have had that happen to him before, I'm sure, and might take him a couple of days to get over it.
It'll happen again.
It'll happen again.
It'll happen again.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you've won enough tournaments. I've won enough tournaments in my day to know that. Actually, I don't. Have you won enough tournaments? And I'm not saying this like literally as like a slight.
I don't.
I'm sure.
Not 9-ball.
You've had to have won plenty of amateur events, right?
9-ball.
Did you really have much of it?
I've never played
just anything. Just anything.
I've never played amateur 9-ball. I only played.
Oh, I mean anything. I mean anything.
Yeah. English 8-ball.
Growing up playing like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've won plenty of those, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I would assume, because I mean the way you cue the balls, you have to be. But I also don't know what the scene is over there. I don't know how tough their tournaments are, or how do they have like weekly pub tournaments, or do they have tournaments that you could show up to on the weekends, and the best player in there is like going to run 2 out of 10 racks or something like that. I mean, what is the scene like that over there?
Where I live, there is no scene. I've got the only table. I live on a tiny little island, but in the UK, I think there are amateur events and stuff. There's still really good amateur players. I don't know what the difference is between an amateur and a pro anyway, to be honest. But there's still plenty of good players.
Somebody who has enough sponsors to make a living versus somebody who has enough talent but can't keep their finances in check.
Yeah, if you've got rich parents, which quite a lot of people seem to have, then you can probably fade it as a pro for as long as you need to, but you're not going to get anywhere. There's plenty of people like that around.
Yeah. But anyways, where I was going with this, I mean, I've won enough tournaments. You've won enough tournaments. You don't always have your best game, and we've all played a tournament or two where you just run over everybody that you play. Nobody gets past 2 or 3 frames against you, and nobody stands a chance, right? You've played that gear, and you've also played it where it doesn't matter who you're playing against, whether you're playing against a 300 Fargo or an 800 Fargo. If you win, it just seems like the hardest match you've ever played in your entire life, and you have 7 of those in a row, and you end up snapping off the tournament, even though you're not bringing your best game. I mean, part of being a champion is learning how to win, whether it's going well or whether it's going bad. And there's a lot of players out there that I think Joshua Filler does this better than everybody. Whether he's playing his best game or whether he's playing his worst game, he just seems to grind better than most. Right? You're never going to beat Joshua. You're never going to beat Joshua Filler because he rolls over and dies. No, you're going to beat him because you've worked your butt off for an hour and a half and you grind it out as much as you could possibly grind out.
Yeah,
and but then you see some of the players. Who's a good example of this? Well, I mean, not throwing anybody under the bus or trying to, but Mieszko Fortuński was kind of like this, where like if his game was on, he'll run you right over. I mean, he has that ability, but also when things are grinding and he's not playing quite his best game, he seems to not be able to exist in matches as easily as other players.
Okay.
Right. Where David, I mean, if you're not playing your best game, you did this too, right? If you're grinding your stuff out, I mean, you can make it deep into tournaments, even with your B game or even your C game. Just being able to grind out your matches, right?
Yeah. You just got to be accepting of. It's taken me way too long to realize it. But you've got to be accepting that you're not. How often are you going to turn up to a tournament, especially high caliber, professional tournaments with really good players? How often are you going to turn up to one of those and play your absolute A game? It might for the best players. Well, for the very best guys, they might only do that a handful of time in their career. They're very top gear. It might only happen a handful of times if they're lucky. Most of the time, people are grinding things out with like the B+ or A- game and winning tournaments. It's the way it has to be.
I mean, if you just look at it like mathematically, and of course, anybody who's new to the podcast, I am a mathematician by trade. That's what I have my degree in. When you're talking standard deviations, if you're talking about an exact bell curve, right? And, you can make the argument whether or not your game is an exact bell curve. Let's just, for argument's sake, say it is. If you play one standard deviation above your average game, you're only going to be able to maintain that 66%, so like 34% of the time.
Okay.
If you're playing two standard deviations above your average game, you're at 95%. So you're only going to be able to maintain that 5% of the time. If you're playing 3 standard deviations, which I guess would be like dead stroke, maybe 2 standard deviations is dead stroke. I don't know exactly where you'd put it, but you can only maintain that 5% of the time. You have to play your worst game then 5% of the time. So, I mean, can you maintain 95% of 37%? Shut up, Chris. But I'm pretty sure that's right. It's a 66, 95, 99.6% rule. So if you play 3 standard deviations above your bell curve average, you're looking at 0.4%. Somebody can fact check that. I'm pretty sure that's true. 66, 95, 99.6.
Somebody fact check
that. That's how standard deviations work. Someone fact check that. But no, I mean, if you just look at your game as a bell curve, I mean, how often can you play your absolute top gear? Well,
yeah,
kind of
so many
what you
things
consider
have
top
got to be.
Gear, but
yeah, so many things have got to align for you to, your brain to get into the right spot where you can really start flowing and playing good. So many things involved, and 99% of those things are nothing to do with pool. It's all life stuff. It's got nothing to do with the game at all. Those things are the biggest influence, probably.
Yeah. The best players in the world are players that can win all over their bell curve. Because I mean, when you look at a bell curve, you're going to spend exactly as much time in the bottom quarter as you are in the top quarter. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So the players who can play in the bottom quarter of their game and still win are the players who are going to, and then it becomes a mental thing. We brought Niels on last week. How lucky are the podcast listeners? They got 4 podcasts last week. 4 podcasts. And one of them was bringing on Niels to talk about, with his mental coaching, being able to keep yourself mentally composed enough to know that you can still get it done when you're playing your bottom, 0.25% of your game. You got to spend some time there. Being able to win there is still important.
If there's anybody to listen to on that sort of stuff, there can't be anybody better than Niels. I wouldn't think. He's explored every corner of, he's explored everything to try and just eke out a little 0.5% here or there.
Yeah, both as a researcher and as a player, right?
Yeah. But he doesn't leave any stone unturned, and he can still only win tournaments like less than 5% of the time, probably way less than 5%, maybe. So it just shows you how difficult it is. It's mad how hard it is.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know. Let's get back to the McGoldrick's Jacoby 9-ball Open. First place was 4,000 pounds. Was this a matchroom ranking event?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Right? So how do you transfer the pounds? So you just do the standard conversion, I assume.
Matchroom at the beginning of each season, Matchroom set a conversion rate, and then that's stuck in place for 12 months. So it doesn't matter what happens between the dollar and the pound and everything else.
Sure.
So I can't remember what they set it at, 1.3 or something. I can't remember.
Well, if it's 1.3, that's really good for David, because at the beginning of the year, I believe it was closer to 1.15. for a while, the pound and the dollar were very getting extremely close. This was when the U.S. dollar actually went over the euro for a hot second.
Right.
And at that same time, I think the pound was down to like a 1.15 because I booked my flight. I booked my flight actually for the Mosconi Cup, and I actually booked it in pounds. I turned on my my VPN and actually went to the UK because I was going to end up saving like $70 or something like that by paying in pounds versus dollars. Yeah. So I because it was so low at the time. So if it's 1.3, that's pretty good for David.
It's on the website. I can't remember. It's something like that, but they lock it in at the beginning. So whatever that converts to, that'll be the ranking points. So yeah,
that's smart.
The semis. Who was in the semis? Jack.
It was Jack Whalen and Dimitri Jungo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I guess Phil Burford gets second. David Alcaide is your champion. Third, fourth goes to Dimitri Jungo and Jack Whelan. 5th through 8th goes to Mickey Krause, Elliot Sanderson, Paul Corrigan, and Chris Elixiander.
I played crap. I should have been in the semis.
Chris Alexander gets 5th through 8th.
I was terrible. I was so bad. So bad.
If I'm not mistaken, this is your highest finish in a match room ranking. You did get 9 through 12. Was it 9 through 12th? Or 9 through 16th, I guess would have been. Didn't you do that in the UK Open a couple of years ago?
No.
The first one?
No.
You made a run in something.
32nd, I think, in that one, or 33rd, or whatever it is. I finished 33rd in 4 of them, I think. I never got beyond that in the majors. In the Romania, I think I finished 9th in Romania once or twice. I can't remember. The Bucharest Open.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I remember you making a pretty deep run in one of them.
Not deep enough. It's not even taking the sting out of the costs of doing things. I'm hemorrhaging money left, right, and center trying to do this. It's a nightmare.
Well, this one you had to be pretty close to breaking even on this one, didn't you? With quarter? Oh, so you only 700 pounds. Oh no, you had 700 pounds. So
700 quid. Yeah.
That'll pay for about your hotel and half a flight.
Yeah. I don't even think about it, to be honest. I don't even.
It might not even cover your bar tab.
Might not. Nah, do you know what? the scheduling has been so weird. So I played my first game on Friday night. I went on at midnight. My second game I played on Saturday. I went on at 11:30 at night. So the first 2 days I'd played. My matches started 3 hours late. The scheduling was all over the place. They hadn't allotted enough time for each match.
Sure.
So it became a bit challenging for everybody.
Well, I think, and this is. I mean, it's good for the top end pros, like for the best events in the world. The UK Open, the US Open, stuff like that. It pays to have it on 4 to 4.25 inch pockets.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a bunch of I'm assuming that there was a ton of dead money in this tournament.
What's dead money to you? People that can't get to the last 16.
People that are struggling to win a match, people that they have a better chance of getting whitewashed than they do winning 3 games in a set.
No, there were not many of them. Not too many of them. Out of the 96, the people that would be incapable of making it to the last 16, maybe 40% of the field or something, maybe something.
Okay.
Like that.
Well, then 40% of the field, that to me sounds like at least 20% is dead money. 1 in 5.
It's the same in every. It's the same in every tournament at every level, though, isn't it?
Well, sure, but what I'm referring to in this tournament specifically is this is not a top heavy field to begin with, right?
No, it's not. No.
So if you have 20% of this field on an already pretty weak field as dead money, playing on 4.25 inch pockets, there's going to be a lot of players who are playing against each other that are, neither one of them can break and run a rack on this table. It's just too tough.
It's getting rid of those first 2 losers rounds, isn't it?
That's
They're the
exactly
killers.
it, right? I mean, yeah, that's my point, right? Is you could have in a race and luckily it was only a race to 6, but you could have a race to 6 with two, ball banging amateurs that could last 2 hours on these tables.
They did, so a lot of the games did go that length.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm guessing most of them were in the first 3 rounds on the B side. Once you get to that point, they kind of worked themselves out, and they're probably down to about an hour and a quarter to.
Yeah, and that's the
Something
killer,
like
that. Right? So yeah, that is the killer. But it might serve everybody better if they move the knockout round to last 32 rather than the last 16, something like that.
Just to try to get rid of that 2 extra rounds of the B side.
Yeah, gets rid of a lot of fluff, and the same people are probably still going to come through to the last 16. There's probably 10 players in that field who are pretty much nailed on to get to the last 16, I'd say. And then, maybe 5 or, maybe another 12 or 12 to 20 players maybe vying for those extra 6 spots.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through here to see if there's any names that I recognize that should have made it that didn't. Hey, Mr. James Jack was there. What a champion. He made it farther than he should have.
Did he? How did he get?
Oh, I think he got 3 rounds into the B side, 2 rounds into the B side before losing. Well, I'll tell you what, Tom Stavali, I believe that's
Stavali.
He's a great player.
Stavely, yeah, he's a good lad. Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player. He should be there. James Jack
he lost to Graham Hickman.
Yeah, who I think is a pretty good player. I don't know who James lost to in the end, but he's just a lunatic, and he beats himself almost every time. I've spoken to him about it so many times. Have you seen him play?
Yeah, I think we play pretty similarly, I think.
And that probably shouldn't be the case because he's playing as bad as, I'm not saying you in particular, but whatever, if you've got similar Fargos, he should be playing like 50 points above whatever his Fargo is, ability wise. Certainly.
Well, I never play, so
yeah. But he beats himself every single time. It's crazy to watch him. If you watch him play a match, 9 times out of 10, if you watch, you're just waiting for him to implode. It's crazy, but he takes it so well afterwards that it's not, he gets over it pretty quick. But he's a lunatic.
So he's got 1,902 games in the system. So that's a lot of games in the system. He's a 670 Fargo.
He's not, though. This is what I'm saying. He's playing so far below his level that I found it annoying when I first met him and watched some of his games, and I spoke to him about it. I found it annoying because he was just throwing shit away left, right, and centre to the point where it was starting to annoy me. But it's just who he is.
I have 5,000 games in the system and a 677.
Wow, so you were right then. You really are close. But he plays so far beneath his ability. It's not real. It's crazy. It's just a lunatic.
And meanwhile, Mike Page is over here rolling in his grave. Just rolling around saying, "What the hell? You are what your numbers say you are."
You are what your numbers say you are, and that is who James is. But if he could just knuckle down even just a little bit more, he'd be so much better. So much better. He'd be capable of beating almost anybody, but he's just a madman.
He's a madman. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to talk about for that tournament?
Who beat Mickey Krause? Phil.
Mickey Krause. Yeah, I believe that's right. Mickey Krause lost to Phil. Yeah, Hill.
In what round was that?
Looks like the quarterfinals.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him play all weekend.
The same round as you. The same round you played. So yeah, the quarterfinals. I guess.
Yeah. I didn't see him play all weekend. I'm trying to think. Were there any other any other good players that didn't get through to the last 16?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know a lot of who these players are. I'd just be honest with you because I would assume there are a lot of transfers, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, and I know that Tom plays really, really, really good.
Tom plays good. Yeah, Tom plays really, really good.
I think
John
he plays.
McAllister.
I think he plays right around probably 740, 750, right, Tom? Something like that.
I don't know. I don't know any.
You don't know the system well enough.
No. John McAllister, he was in it. He was World 8-Ball champion a few years ago. He's playing more of the events. It's just a matter of time before.
So Tom only plays about 700 then.
Oh, okay. John McAllister, he's going to be really good. It's just waiting for something to click. I'm not sure what it is. I don't know whether he's got access to practice a lot or what it is, but yeah, he could be doing a lot better. I don't know the rest of the fields.
Mr. Del Sim was there. How much fun is that?
Dell was there. Dell was there. They ran out of Madry after 2 days. So no doubt that's down to him.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm looking at this. I don't see any names that are like huge surprises that they didn't make it. There's a couple Polish players. I mean, you never know who the Polish players are. They could be the next Daniel Maciel, or they might be just some banger. Nobody's heard of Daniel.
Bart something. Bart Sapler or something.
There was.
I've seen his name before. I don't know. Have you heard of him before?
No.
Okay. I don't know if he's. I don't know then if he's a UK-based Polish person or if he's an actual, one of the Polish crew that travels around. I don't know, but I have seen his name before.
Yeah.
Who was the other Polish person?
Oh, there's a few.
Oh, was there?
Right here. Yeah, there was Marcel Trudnowski. What you really got to ask about the Polish guys? You really? So I got to go through and try to pronounce a bunch of Polish names.
How can you not pronounce them? You used to have a Poland flag. You wearing Poland T-shirts and stuff.
Doesn't mean I can't. Doesn't mean I can pronounce it.
Jesus.
Yeah, you got the Bart. Witold Zarowski. Actually, there's two Polish guys that drew each other first round. How brutal is that?
Do you know who played? Do you remember Shane played in the UK Open, and that guy came out dressed as like Darth, had a cape on and stuff? Yeah, that guy played.
Did he?
Yeah, he.
How did he do?
He played James Jack first round, and from what I heard, it nearly turned into a fight. From what I heard,
really?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what was going on, but this is what I'm talking about with James. He, the smallest thing will send him west, like gone. So I did hear some stuff, but I'm not going to repeat it.
You will off air.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then you can tell everyone.
I got no problem with that. That sounds fun.
He was there.
James must have told him his shirts suck or something.
No, it was. Yeah.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I think that was it, really. Marcel Price. He's somebody that should be getting to the last 16. Do you know Marcel?
Yep.
Yeah, so he used to play snooker for Wales and stuff. He's a good player, but I think he might have gone like 2 and out or something this time around. I don't know what happened to him. Don't know what happened to him. Sometimes you're
just not feeling it, right?
Did David beat Imran in this last 16 or the quarters?
In the finals, yeah, yep.
In the which bit? Sorry, in the last 16.
In the last 16.
Or
whatever the last 16.
Yeah.
David beat him 8-1.
Yeah, he ran over him. Who beat Elliott? I can't remember who beat Elliott Sanderson.
He was beat by that the Jack Whelan.
Oh, of course, yeah. In the
8-2.
last 16, Elliott was down 7-2 to JJ Full
Against
from
JJ?
South Africa. Yeah, he was down 7-2, and he managed to bring it back and win 8-7, and then he gave it his usual celebration squeal after he'd won.
He is known as the Howler, huh?
It's this. What's he got on the back of his shirt? I can't remember now.
I think it's the Howler.
The Howler? No, it's,
Yeah.
Is it?
Pretty sure, yeah. Pretty sure that's it. The Screamer.
So, yeah.
Is it the Screamer?
The Screamer, the Shouter.
Oh, maybe it's the Shouter. Maybe it's the Shouter.
I just call him the Squealer. But he does. It's difficult for Elliot. Elliot's such a nice guy. He's a great guy, and he does a lot of stuff with Jacoby as well. And obviously, he's the house pro at McGoldrick's, so they sponsor him. Paul Corrigan sponsors him. But it was difficult for Elliot because he's kind of half organising the tournament and half trying to play, which is like just pointless. You know, there's maybe 6 or 7 events up here a year. So there's a Scottish series, and then there's 2 matchroom events are up here. But I was talking to him last night, and as frustrating as it is for him, I told him that he just has to write those events off. Just don't expect anything from yourself because you're trying to run them at the same time.
Or just find somebody locally to hire him for £100 and just tell him, hey, do this so I can focus.
Yeah, I don't think he can help himself. I think that's the problem. I think he feels responsible, which is obviously a great thing, a great trait to have. But he can't focus 100% on playing, so it's always going to be difficult for him up here.
Sure. Yeah. Well, props to Jacoby. Obviously, Jacoby is the #1 sponsor of this podcast. They do incredible things to help us continue doing this, so we always love them. And going back to your conversation earlier, or our conversation earlier about how cool cues don't make a difference, I'm going to prove you wrong by showing you how sweet this ad is for the cue of the year in 2022. So check this out. I'm telling you what, Chris, you had that cue and you'd be like Spot and Fader the 6.
It's all personal preference, right? They make some.
Not with that cue.
Huh?
Not with that cue.
They make some very, very, very nice cues. I like the traditional look of a cue, just with like 4 splices, pretty plain, nothing too jazzy going on. That had all sorts of funkiness going on there.
Jazzies.
the workmanship, the craft that goes into making those things is obviously unbelievable. And you know, you can just tell looking at that, you know, all the CNC work and things that bits that have gone into it. It looks amazing. But yeah, not one for me. Nice though. It's nice.
It's incredible.
Incredible. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Is that a cue you can buy? Someone's just asking how much it is.
Yeah, you can buy that. I believe. So there's two cues, the yin and the yang. I believe they're $20,000 each.
Okay. You're paying for all of that craftsmanship, aren't you? That's what
Sure.
you're paying for.
Yeah, of course, right.
Is that just a one-off? There's no...
Yeah, one-off. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's
It's not
so.
one of a
So
series one.
No. Jacoby Custom Cues builds a cue of the year every single year.
Okay.
Submission. So at the Super Billiards Expo, they do a cue of the year. So all of the companies that want to put a cue out there for it, they can put it out there. Usually they have between 5 and 20 cues, just depending on the year. Mostly they're right around 10 to 15. And everybody that's at the Super Billiards Expo can take a vote on who they think was the best made cue of the year. Jim is very rude. And Jacoby, for I believe now 15 years straight, has either had the cue of the year or has been runner-up. And I believe they've won 7 of those years.
Wow.
So they have 7 out of 14
something.
years. Yes. They won it last year with the King Arthur cue, which was absolutely insanely beautiful. And there's actually a video for it online. They basically do like a time lapse of the entire creation of the cue.
Okay, I'll put that on my YouTube watch list.
Yeah, I will send you the. Actually, here, I'll put the link out.
Okay, fine.
I can put the link out. Gonna have to find it, but shouldn't be a problem.
So that what did you say it was called? Cue Maker Awards or Cue of the Year? Cue of the Year, yeah.
Cue of the year, yeah.
That's for the smaller manufacturer. When I say smaller, we're not on about the mass production companies, your Q-Tex and Predators. They stay out of it.
They can submit one they can submit one if they want to, but they haven't historically.
Yeah, because they're up against. It's a completely different thing, right?
Well, as respectful as you can say it as possible, they don't care, right? They're just trying to get those production companies are trying to get the money out of your pocket.
And rightly so. We need those companies. They're the companies that can sponsor the big events. Jacoby, obviously sponsored this event and put a lot of their own profits into.
Jacoby does a little bit of both, right?
Yeah,
they do a little bit of both. But like the bigger companies like that, it's not art to them, right? It's business to them. Where Jacoby, it's closer to art. It's both. It's business and art. And yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
the bigger companies just don't care that much about it, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just is what it is.
Yeah, they're not the same thing, are they? They're not the same thing.
No.
Elliot is sponsored by Jacoby, and he sells a lot of equipment for them. And he sold a cue to a guy last night, and I had a look at it. I was hitting some balls with it, and I thought, feels lovely. It's got like the shaft has got like 148 separate laminates or something, 128 or 148.
Yeah.
When you look at it up close, it's unreal. How thin each of those laminate pieces is. It's unbelievable. The skill that goes into
the work they do is incredible.
It's unbelievable what they do. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to pull this up. I do want to give condolences to the Jacoby family. I know we've talked a lot about them in the last little bit, but they sponsored the event. So condolences to their family. They did lose the original owner, David Jacoby. Is a great man. I mean, he was at every single booth pretty much that they had. He was always the guy in the corner taking a nap. Could never get him to do any work. He was also the happiest guy you're ever going to come across. I mean, he started the company. I mean, he built it out of his garage and then his basement. Basically, back in like the 70s, we've had a podcast with him and Brandon on where we talked about the creation of it. It's fantastic to go back. Maybe I should probably pull that up out of the archives and release it again so that people can kind of do what he did. I think that's a good idea. I'll probably end up doing that. But as I'm finding this link, so that's good. Here is the link if anybody wants to watch that cue design of the King Arthur, which was honestly, if you have 5 minutes of your day, you're not gonna be upset. Just watching the work that goes into building a queue like this, it's absolutely fantastic. So here's a link. But yeah, great man, built a great company, does a lot for the game, gives back to a lot of different people, organizations, businesses to allow them to succeed in this industry. So family-owned business that turned big enough to help the industry. So that's huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to David for what he's built, and he's going to be missed.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon was supposed to be at the event this week, but obviously he couldn't because of his dad's passing. They made a little speech last night. I don't know if it was caught on video after the final, about David and the company and, all that they've done. And, over the last couple of weeks, I think it was quite well known that he was ill. I spoke to maybe 5 or 6 different people about him, and nobody has got anything but just great things to say about him. And that's pretty rare in today's world. So,
especially in this industry.
Yeah, especially, mate. So that you can't get a better. It's just sad, but yeah.
If you go back and look at the post that they made about the passing of David, and you look at how many shares it has, and you can look in there are queue companies that are like, right. I mean, there are dozens of queue companies that are sharing this post based off of what he's done for their, the Pantera queues for Jacoby. Right? Yeah.
He helped
the
other
Pantera queues for Predator. Those are made by Jacoby. A lot of them, those are made by Jacoby. Jacoby makes a lot of Predator queues. Especially their high end ones. They did a lot of work for a lot of different companies. So yeah.
I'm sure it's all in safe hands, though. The company going forward. Brandon's been doing the manufacturing side of the business for a long time, from what I understand. So there won't be any change in terms of the quality of the products they're putting out. There won't be any change there at all.
Yeah. Well, with that, I don't know. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
Mick Hill played Bustamante.
Sure.
Mick Hill, who you don't know.
Yeah, you said the greatest queuist of all time is got smashed by 55 racks.
I said he's one of the best pool players of all time. You're just not educated and well-rounded enough to know who he is. But he played Bustamante in Manila, race to 90, and I think he got beat by, they were playing 8-ball, and he got beat by like 10 or 12 frames or something in the end. But apparently on one of the days, Busty just caught a crazy gear. It would be good to see Mick Hill play more of these events. I'm aware of the fact that as I'm saying this, that if you don't know who he is, then nobody else apart from Jim probably knows what I'm talking about either. He's just said there, Mick got killed by his break, and he did. But he's such an extraordinarily talented player. I just hope we see him play some Matchroom 9-ball stuff. I really do. He's phenomenal. Really, really is.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to say about that one?
Nope.
Okay, let's tune off for the week. But first, I want to give a shout out to the Patreons that help support this show and allow us to keep doing what we're doing. So Double Dave Q's, Dave Wiersma, Mo Bashir, Cody Wedig, Ed Ladawi, Matt Poland, and Morgan Lupton. These are the patrons that help us continue doing the show. If you would like to become a patron and help the show continue, you can do so at patreon.com/QItUp podcast. And I can drop that. That is always actually in the description of the show. So I will put that into the comments. This basically just helps us continue doing what we're doing. So if that's something of interest to you, you can click that link right there. Go sign yourself up. You get some pretty sweet bonuses for being a part of it as well. But mostly you're just helping out the show continue. So with that, Chris, thanks for joining me today. Jim, go enjoy your vacation. You smell funny and you're dumb.
He'll be, what time is it? I think it's probably nearly 8 o'clock in Turkey. So he will be a dozen beers deep by this point and probably sunburnt to a crisp.
Yeah, he's probably trying to fight the pool boy right now for looking at him funny.
He'd be strolling around in his budgie smugglers with a beer in his hands.
That probably sound. Yeah, that's probably pretty close to right. That sounds like Jim. So
100%.
yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well, you enjoy yourself, Jim. Don't get too much fun over there. He's in Ankara.
I see somewhere out there.
Somewhere in Turkey. Somewhere in Turkey.
Somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in.